course you are.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Game Set Live. Another week, another show. Xbox broke its silence today, and Bob is playing Skull and Bones. Played through the beta. The beta made me buy the game. I actually really enjoy it. But, uh, yeah. If you're new to the channel, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. It's free, and yeah, we're gonna get right into intros because this is a late show, and I'm sure we got a lot of good nitty gritty opinions of our own to get into on what was released today. Yes, Fabio Amorim, sir, the Brazilian gangster. How you doing?
Oh,
Well, you've been playing. I hear you. You bought a game, yeah? Having a good time?
I yes, I am having a good time. I did not just buy a game, but I bought a really important thing for my Xbox Series S, which is I bought 1 terabyte of SSD storage. I bought no, it isn't the Seagate. The Seagate expansion one. No, it is the WD Black C50 expansion card for Xbox. 1 terabyte of SSD, so I literally have installed in this little guy here. Like, give me 2 seconds here. I got Baldur's Gate 3, 137 gigabytes. Halo Master Chief Collection, 119 gigabytes, 103 gigabytes, Gears 5, 79 gigabytes, Madden 58, and so on, so on. Like that would be so impossible to do with the original, with the original storage of the console. I'm so glad I finally managed to get one of these. It's really worth it. And other than that, what I've been playing, of course, Halo. There, especially now that they've added a few new BTB maps, which are really good. I'm really enjoying it. I've been playing some Forza Motorsports, and I am in love with the game. It is one of the best games out there, honestly, especially when it comes to the optimization for the Series S. And yes, I am enjoying the feature of your car leveling up. Like you grew a reputation, you grew like a relationship with your car. You start getting accustomed to it, and then you go to a next race, and then you have to change it, and then you're like, ah, fuck, I need to start all over again. But you grow the relation back to it, and it's so good. Such a good game, honestly. Really, really well done. Great job to Turn 10 Studios. And other than that, I've been playing some. Yes, I gave in. I'm playing Suicide Squad. Really fun.
Suicide
Really
Squid?
fun. Eh,
Suicide Squad.
yeah,
Squad?
yeah. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. No, it's because Squad. The sex
Mm,
squad.
the sex squad.
We cannot say the other S word here. I've been playing Sack Squad here, and the only thing that I really hate is just like the sense of humor.
Yeah.
But other than that, like Deadshot and King Shark are like my jam, honestly.
I love King Shark. King Shark is badass. I love the way he flies around and everything. He
He
doesn't
is the
need
best.
he doesn't need a special tool or equipment to fly around. He's just like in the beginning when they're all getting their gear from inside the Justice League Museum. He's like, I
He
don't
just
need that. I'm a
he just
god.
needs Rid
Yeah.
he just needs Riddler's invisibility hats. Just that.
Yusovini, the master race gamer.
What up?
Hey man, what you been up
The
to,
one and
brother?
only.
Yeah.
Amen,
Much.
Lord.
Just I don't know. When was the last time we had a show? Last week?
Yes, of course.
Last week,
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah. Since last week, I just been
have
playing
you
a
been
ton
alive
of
during that last
Helldivers.
week?
This is the weeks kind of meshed together
I'm,
nowadays.
I mean, what happened to you? Have you been drinking again?
Mm,
No.
no.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well,
Couldn't
after this
resist that.
podcast that we had today, I'll definitely get started on it. No,
Are
I'm
you
just
sad?
kidding.
Are,
No, just
are
a
you
little
going to do?
disappointed, but
Are you going
we
to
can
be
get into
mayhem? Are you going to be mayhem games here?
that. Nah, but yeah, there's a lot to talk about with the podcast. But yeah, since last week, just been playing a ton of Helldivers 2. It's such a good game. Like it's so much fun. Uh, beginning was kind of a rocky launch with the game. Like couldn't really play it that much, but they fixed a lot of it, and I've just been smooth sailing ever since.
Any more of the PC restarting on you?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Any more of the PC?
no. So apparently it was like a decom. It was a decom issue with the end protect. It changed some of the kernel coding on my computer, so which involved the decom, and so I had to change some settings and revert it back, and I haven't gotten like a blue screen of death since.
Oh, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to show me how to do that.
Yeah, it's different for everybody. That was just my issue. I just ran a memory diagnostic test, and that was one of the errors that showed up.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3
The
is a
boss.
huge game.
Ah,
Mm, yeah, it takes a lot of space. But me, I've been playing a lot of Pal World. I've played Suicide Squad. See on screen, I dove into the beta of Skull and Bones, really not knowing what to think because for so long we weren't even sure if this game was going to come out, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I
mm,
really did, and I even went out and bought the game, the $100 version of the game, to play it early because when I was cut off from
Bob,
the,
for fuck, uh,
uh, I
Bob, for fuck's sake, when we say that you are rich, that you receive $400 billion per day just to breathe, we were not kidding. Like you just
whatever.
out of the sudden, you know what? I'm going to spend one hundred
Bob is
dollars.
a Hayainer in Brazil.
Oh
I
God.
mean, no, like he's the fucking king. Like if he gets to Brazil, he can actually buy the entire country. Honestly,
Not true. Not true. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But yeah,
of course it is. You know that.
of course. So Bob's got off work tonight, and so the audio recording that goes up on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, and Pocket Casts the day after will be going up immediately after this show because I don't have to run and get ready for work and take off.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, you'll be as close to live as I can get you. All right, so Phil Spencer came out and said,
Let's get into the nitty gritty.
"Oh yeah,
Are you that sad?
No, I'm like, you know, it's
Bob's happy.
yeah, I'm like jumping up and down in my seat.
So
If you can't,
we had the Xbox podcast.
yes, we did, and Starfield and Indiana Jones are not coming to PlayStation.
The first,
They are remaining exclusive. There you go. That's the show. Ta-da!
Let's go. Phil
Yeah.
there we
Spencer
go.
said,
Goodbye,
you
best.
know. I'm just kidding.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great night. See you later.
So, I mean,
Oh yeah.
w-
Okay. So Okay. Okay. So here, let's go. Let's dive a little better here. Like, so we had a Xbox podcast, which they would be doing their business updates. quote unquote business update, which honestly it wasn't actually necessarily a business update in my opinion. It was just an update and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of what everyone was curious to see, which was like Satya Nadella saying something, no, it was Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty, the three members of the leadership at Xbox, talking about the situation where they are adapting the plans to make Xbox grow somehow. Because here's the thing, according to what Phil Spencer said, and we can definitely see that, especially throughout the industry with all the layoffs, and as well as with what Sony said during this week. Like, even though last year we had an amazing year for the gaming industry, it was a year where the industry didn't grow at all.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to the point where everything is just stagnant, where things are not growing. We got to the point where things are like to the comfort zone where there's nothing disrupting the market. Everything is just the same. Nothing is going bad, but nothing is necessarily growing. And of course, since you are a business and all the consoles they are part of a business, it doesn't matter if it is PlayStation, Nintendo, or Xbox, you need to try to get more and more money somehow. And what they decided to do, they decided to put 4 games on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. They didn't say which games are, which is like, in my opinion, kind of bullshit in my opinion, because yeah, I know we are probably going to see that on the developer direct, but I still think it's like, why can't you just tell me? It would be so much better. Jesus Christ. But other than that, it was going to be two community driven games and 2 smaller titles that we will be seeing available on PlayStation and on the Nintendo Switch. And according to what we saw from the leaks from Tom Warren, it is going to be that this is not confirmed yet, but Tom Warren leaked saying that it's going to be Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, and Pentiment. But Phil Spencer made sure he made it clear that this is not an indicative that all games are going to be there, and this is not an indicative that they are going to be changing the way they work in terms of exclusivity for Xbox. So this is the first topic that they talked about, and take it away, Bob and Yusovini. What did you guys think of that?
I'll let Vinny go. Vinny, how did you feel about their
Um,
messaging today?
Personally, it kind of frustrates me that they're still like they're not firm on anything. They're still like, oh, this might change, this may change. Like when they said Starfield and Indiana Jones aren't coming to other platforms, they said, I don't know what the direct quote was, but Phil Spencer pretty much made it sound like today, like today they're not coming to PlayStation and Switch. But as far as like in the future, who knows? We'll see. And that kind of like it's just like just tell us, We waited like 2 weeks for this information and you're kind of like blue balling us right now.
Well,
So,
they
I don't
did.
know.
I don't know. I mean, Phil Spencer did say that older games that are older than a year, games that have kind of seen their growth plateau on the service. And I heard from one of my good friends that the 4 games that they're talking about are going to be Grounded, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, and Pentiment. Which, I mean, Hi-Fi Rush and
Okay,
Pentiment are your
did you
smaller
pay
game.
attention to what I was saying?
Yes. I paid attention, but I'm just giving you.
I said exact.
I know, but I'm giving you
See,
the
I don't know.
Just
official
repeating. Okay.
wrangling. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if like Pentiment will be the final decision because it's just like it doesn't really make sense to bring that to PlayStation. Like just because it's a super niche game, you know, like there's niche and then there's Pentiment, which is like even more niche.
Oh yes.
Um, so it's just like I don't know what they hope to like achieve from that. Like to me personally, I feel like Killer Instinct would be a much better game to port over to PlayStation and whatnot. Personally,
I'm sorry. What
The
did you?
idea,
or
the
make more
idea
sense.
of Xbox, I mean, the idea of Xbox is clearly like, okay, we need to somehow get more money because we got to the limits of how we can grow here. And especially considering the way the industry is going forward, where we see a bunch of layoffs, we see Sony saying that we are kind of consider like what the idea they gave with their statement is that we are not growing by doing the model that we do usually. We are considering putting more games day and dates on PC. And it gets to the point where actually Xbox is kind of considering testing the waters and putting some of their games on other platforms, especially considering the way, like, for example, if we consider Sea of Thieves really community driven, and yeah, if we consider that those games are not growing anymore in terms of adding more subscriptions, in terms of getting more money from monetizations, or in terms of player base growing with just PC and Xbox, they are going to be trying to somehow expand their business to get more money. Basically, Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, and Grounded will be games that, if they succeed, there will be that money flow that would manage to make Xbox healthier in a way where there will be more income from the industry from those games coming to Xbox, and they would use that somehow to bring new hardware, to add new things to Game Pass, to spend more money in first party titles, so on, so on, so on. And considering that they decided to put a really niche game like Pentiment as one of their choices, yeah, it is just let's test it. Let's see what happens. Because let's be honest, if they wanted to be way more popular, they would have put then Gears. Gears of War was actually like one of, if not the game most wished by PlayStation fans during this terrible week of. They could have put Halo, they could have put Forza, but those games are way too attached to the Xbox platform, and everyone will be crazy there. Everyone will have a really big outburst,
So
and it gets to the point where they are going to be testing the.
Hello,
Fabio,
Hello, Bob.
I
Bob.
hear you.
Oh,
Okay,
Fabio,
okay,
you
it's
just
like
Bob
I
died.
thought I disconnected. There.
no.
What
I did.
happened?
I didn't die. I'm still here. You guys hear me?
What?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes.
Fabio
What
died.
happened there? Why were
Fabio
you
died right in the middle of his speech. I completely lost Fabio in
right?
the middle of the
Yes,
speech.
Sovini?
Yeah, Fabio. Fabio, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Fabio, can you not
I
hear
think he
us?
can hear you.
Yes, Sovini, can you hear me?
I can hear
Can
Fabio.
you
Yeah,
hear me?
Fabio,
Oh, so fuck off, Bob.
I can hear you, Fabio. Can you not hear me? Vinny, you
I
can hear
can't
me,
hear
right?
you.
All right, let me disconnect and come back.
That's what troubles me now.
Okay, can you hear me now, fellas?
Yeah,
Yes.
I could hear you.
Man,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
the podcast is still going. I was so worried that.
I
Oh
wonder
my
if
Mm.
god.
we all just misunderstood and like thought we couldn't hear each other.
That would have been
Like,
that would
did I get cut off during
Yes,
my
it
what I
you
was
it
saying, Vinny?
No,
completely.
So Bob, I
you were
was.
talking, and then Bob was interluding, and then you both just went quiet. So I was like,
That was so weird.
No, but okay. So what do I need to repeat here?
I don't know. I
Okay,
don't
basically
really
Xbox
know.
testing the waters is okay. So Xbox basically testing the waters to go slowly and get more money to fund their games. Basically, that's it.
Oh yeah. So okay, this is my take on the whole thing. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with all of it. I mean, I really am. Because Phil made a point. He made a point. He was like, you got games out there that have limited reach, and those games have got super microtransactions. But if you take a game and you give it more players and more sales, then that reduces the necessity that a developer
To
would
add those
to
microtransactions
add
as
those
well.
things. And they also made a point that the only platform that you're going to find Game Pass on is going to be Xbox. You're not going to get, so I'm
Hmm.
still going to play on my Xbox because they reiterated all first party games are still day and date in Game Pass. They said that Diablo 4 coming in March. Now that is not for the core subscribers because the core subscribers only get what is
it's
it?
just Xbox Live Gold. 25 games.
Yeah, it's like 25 games. And so, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just pay the $5 extra and get everything. So, but yeah, for me, Xbox is still a viable platform because it's the only place Game Pass is going to live. I'm still going to get all of the games from all the franchises I love. I'm not going to have to pay for them. And if more people get to play Grounded and we get a Grounded 2 out of this, maybe we're not stuck in the backyard anymore. Maybe we're stuck in the front yard. Then that's a plus for everybody. Everybody wins if
Like,
more people play the
like,
games. Go ahead, Fabio.
like there is a situation that we've been seeing like that, like we've been seeing a lot from the community, even in our private podcast chat here on Twitter, saying the situation where they are only going to start with four, and then after that there's going to be more, and then more, and then more, and to the point where it's too late, so you can just accept it and that's it. Move on with it. No, no, like for
Phil
them
did
to
make that
actually
point where
have the
he
like
did
for
say
them
like
to
5, 10
actually go to
years.
the point where
Okay,
Oh,
Vinny.
go ahead, Fabio.
but here's
Okay.
no, okay, let me consider here, like for them to make such a step, honestly, here's what they would need to do. They are going to put those four games. Okay, what guarantee that they are going to sell amazingly? I guarantee that the person that is going to be on PlayStation will rather pay $70 for each one of those games instead of just, you know what? Let me either get a Series S or go to a PC and play those games on Game Pass. Way cheaper, way better. And like they need to perform well in terms of sales because Game Pass is not coming to PlayStation at all whatsoever. So you would need all of those games to perform really, really well. So Microsoft can kind of consider, okay, let's see if more of these games are going to be profitable to be here on PlayStation. And yes, Phil Spencer, he did mention about like, yeah, in kind of 5, 10 years from now, maybe there is going to be a moment where we are console gaming will have no exclusives at all. But this is not a situation where only Xbox is going alone by themselves. It is a situation where the industry is walking towards. Oh, but Sony hasn't announced anything going to Xbox or something like that. Well, Sony saw what how profitable Helldivers 2, one of their first party titles, how successful and profitable it was on PC to the point where they are considering putting games they won they and they won there. And why stop there then? As to the point where everything's going to be multi-platform as well. So I think that this is way more acceptable by the community, considering that like if Xbox is not going to have any exclusives, then this is not something that Xbox is going to be doing alone. This is actually what the industry is going to be doing moving forward in 10 years, more or even less. We don't know about it. This is just like speculations. And of course, we can all be wrong. Xbox will can continue, the industry will continue to have exclusives, and PlayStation and Xbox will continue to have their own separate platforms.
Yeah, I think both platforms need to release day and date on. I mean, Xbox already does, but I think PlayStation needs to release day and date on PC too, because you've got a lot of people out there that they're just not going to break their habit. They're not going to break their habit. They're not going to get a PC and start PC gaming. They're going to stick to their big screen in their living room, and yeah, PC is going to be PC gamers, and console gamers are going to be console gamers. And yes, you will get the best of both worlds on PC, but you're not going to have a large. You're not going to see gamers going in droves by the thousands, dumping their plastic boxes to get a metal box with a discrete GPU and everything in it. You're not going to see that. It's because they're PC gamers are a certain type of person, and console gamers are another type of person. And yeah, I mean, unless you put your PC in your living room and play everything in big screen mode, it's just it's not friendly to PC to console gamers to play on PC if that's not what they prefer. So I say give it all to PC, and make your extra money there, and keep your exclusives where they belong on the console side, but just give it all to PC and make your extra money there. That to me makes total sense, and I like PC gaming, so it's a win-win for me. Okay, Vinny.
Here's the thing, Bob. Like
Oh
it seems that go on, Vin.
No,
yeah.
I was just gonna say, Phil Spencer did say during the podcast that he expects like 5 to 10 years from now that exclusives, like what we know as exclusives, is gonna go away. And to me, that just sounds like, well, okay, so the game plan is just not have exclusives in the end and just become, a third party publisher. So that's what I mean. Like, the whole thing was just a mixed bag of messaging. Like, okay, you're saying like there's no promises of games past the 4 games that they're planning on releasing going to other platforms, but then they also say in the same breath that 5-10 years there's exclusives are gonna go away, and then it's just like just say it straight, like say give us a roadmap of something, like it's gonna have negative effects the longer you wait to tell your consumer base like what's actually going on. And I don't know.
Well,
It kind of turned me off.
they said that roadmap.
No, no, but like here's the thing. They are
Yeah.
oh, go on, Bob.
They said that they said that roadmap would be they will let everybody know. The June showcase, the everybody's replacement for E3 that happens in June now. Their live stream.
Summer Game Fest.
Yes, yes, which pretty much is what it is now. Um, they're they did say that the hardware is not going anywhere because again, Game Pass 34 million subscribers. We finally got a number on that today. And if you take 34 million subscribers and you do the math, if you just average whether or not they're core subscribers or ultimate subscribers, let's say you split it in the middle, that's still $3 to $4 billion of revenue a year. That's crazy. I mean, if you take everybody's exclusives for a whole year, none of them are going to sell enough copies to equal $3 to $4 billion in a fiscal year. It's just nuts, the revenue that Game Pass brings, and they doubled down and said that Game Pass is only going to be on Xbox, and the Xbox hardware is not going anywhere because Game Pass will have a home, and they want to make sure that They also said that we will find out. They were supposed to talk about it in June. That we're going to see the largest technological leap in hardware performance.
No, it's not in June. It's not in June.
That's for next
It's
gen.
this year at fall. It's not in June.
Oh,
June
this year
is the
fall.
10 June is the 10 games that they have in development. Matt Booty mentioned that. Cerebon mentioned that in fall of this year they are going to show the next big technological leap that they ever done before. Like I think that's kind of impossible. I think that's just like trying to hype up something.
Well,
That is not going to be that big of a leap, honestly. But
I got to tell you though,
and they are going to be focused.
that really excites me because if you look at the 1X, the 1X was 6 teraflops. The Series X was 12. So you already doubled that. And they're saying that the next console will be the largest leap between generations ever. So you're not.
I mean, the 360 was.
Well,
You guys think that means
mean,
they're partnering with NVIDIA?
I think that they have to be going with NVIDIA. I mean, because you're not going to. We're not seeing that out of RDNA 4 or 3 compared to 2. We're not seeing that leap. We're talking about a 26 to 30 teraflop monster. You know what I'm talking about, Vinny. We're talking 4090 realm.
Yes. Especially if they have software like DL. I don't know if it'll be 4090, but I think with software like DLSS, like they could really make a crazy like console. Just like because it's no doubt that Nvidia has the best GPU software out of the big three right now, AMD and Intel. And it's just getting better, and with the AI advancements. Oh, and Microsoft did also release their own version of upscaling that comes with Windows. So I think whatever next console they make it's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm an AMD guy. I love AMD. I love what AMD stands for. Like on the processor side, they give you that performance without completely breaking your wallet, unlike Intel. But I will never, and you can timestamp this right now, I will never put an AMD GPU in my computer. It is always going to be NVIDIA. My encoder, I'm always going to run NVENC. I'm going to go, I will ride the NVIDIA ship to the graveyard. NVIDIA van through and through when it comes to graphics. But processor wise, I'm going to stick with my AMD.
AMD. Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
There's just no competition when it comes to AMD processors.
no, and Intel. I mean, Intel even started throwing shade at AMD because of their claims, and their claims were substantiated. But let's just say the 13900X did the performance gain that they were supposed to see from the 14900 Intel. Just it wasn't there. Intel's ran out of options. They need to change up.
Yeah.
They need to change their architecture. They need to do something because AMD's chiplet design is crushing them. So, yeah.
And you know, like if you're gonna release some of your exclusives on other platforms, you need something else to really differentiate yourself besides, exclusives, right? You need stronger hardware, which is kind of the obvious answer. Or hardware that's just like has much more features and accessibility versus the other consoles.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. And we already Microsoft is in a very or Xbox is in a very good spot right now because we've already heard that Sony has already signed a future agreement with AMD. So they're locked. They're locked into AMD, and we've seen AMD's hardware on the graphics side always fall behind Nvidia. And you got Intel. Intel's coming up, although Intel has, and I give them their kudos because they didn't just come out at a low price point, budget gaming. I mean, they struck mid to high, but their drivers are just horrible. They have so many driver issues. So, yeah, I think that we could see if Microsoft and Xbox can break the AMD mold and get away from RDNA and move on to Nvidia, we could really see a huge performance difference. And then you can say that, yeah, you can play that over there at 45 frames a second with ray tracing. Or you can play it over
with
here.
FSR
with FSR 1. Or you can play that over here at 90 frames a second, DLSS 3 with ray tracing on maximum. Yeah, that's crushing.
I also think, Sarah Bond also did mention that they have hardware planned for later this year. I don't think it's a pro console, but I do think it's like a Switch version of a Series S.
Ooh. Now that could pique a lot of interests. I would be.
You mean like a handheld?
Yes.
I think that would be way better than a pro version of a Series X. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah. I would even go as far as to say if you could phase out the Series S and make a Switch type that you could dock and it is your Series S on your television or it's your Series S on the go. Because they got that screen now for the Series S, and everybody is boasting about that. Phil Spencer uses it religiously when he's traveling. It's just,
it's only natural that they do this organic portable Switch or portable Series S.
Yeah, totally. I'm down.
What are your guys' thoughts about that? Well, what kind of hardware do you think they'd be releasing this year?
I would be a digital only Series X or a dockable portable Series S. That would be my bet.
I would definitely bet. I would definitely bet on the digital Series X, honestly, when it comes to the hardware, because it is according to what those official leaks actually said before. So I don't know. I don't think they would be actually already start releasing a handheld console, but I think they would maybe announce it, not necessarily already release it.
And I tell you,
That's pretty
the way
realistic.
they can get away with this digital Series X and the community not really care is if they don't make, because any digital console you're gonna have usually you see the manufacturer of the digital console, they also say, well, you can buy this disk drive as that option so that your games still come forward with you. To really not make a big impact with the digital is make it to where you can use any external disk drive that is compatible with Windows 11, because you can pick those up on Amazon right now for like 15-20 bucks. You can get an external DVD RW. Just make it to where we can use any drive to play our discs. And then nobody will care whether or not you came out with a
Mm.
digital version of your console, because you've made it accessible on the disc side. It's just simply spending, $25 on Amazon to play your discs and not making people have to buy something that's officially licensed. It's just a disc drive. So, yeah.
You know what?
Mhm.
That makes a lot of sense because when the leakers first were leaking information about the showcase that we had in early, January, they
Leaking,
did
you
say
mean like rumoring and exaggerating?
no, no. This one was accurate. They said Hi-Fi Rush and all
The
that was
okay,
coming out. This was like the original
not
leak.
everything, not
Um,
everything.
they did they did say that there was going to be third party hardware, and I think they thought it was going to be third party consoles, but I think what it really was is third party disk drivers
Yeah, that would be.
Ah, you
because that
mean
would
so
make way
instead
more
of
sense.
third-party hardware, would actually be third-party peripherals, kind of
Yeah,
peripherals, you
third
mean?
party peripherals. Yep. So
Mm-hmm.
it'd just be a disk drive,
Hmm.
That's a win-win.
which would make way more
Yeah, that
sense. I
that could
mean,
be.
that was yeah.
I mean, like considering how successful and popular that it's not necessarily it's not a disk drive. It is a portable screen for the Xbox Series S that a third party company made, and right after that it got popular. Microsoft saw it, caught their attention. It was approved to become a licensed product. So yeah, probably they might get to the point where, why don't we try to get this to make this portable screens, or why don't we try to make portable hard drives?
Yeah, they, it's a possibility. I mean, like, does Western Digital make a solid state drive for the series consoles right now? Has Western Digital gotten into that?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
The WD Black.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one I bought. That's the one I have.
Yeah, Fabio just said he bought it.
Oh.
Yeah, really worth it. And way cheaper than the Seagate one here in Brazil. Like it is
Dude,
like
Seagate's such a ripoff.
1,300 Brazilian reais
Oh my God!
less than the Seagate.
Mayhem has just dropped upon us. Hmm. You there, May?
Oh
As usual,
shit.
I like to just kind of drop in. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Fabio, I'm here. I'm here. I made it. Don't you
Oh.
worry, sir.
Okay,
Oh
no worries.
gosh. There goes the
Fabio has left the chat.
there goes the neighborhood.
Oh man. What's up, guys?
Nah,
What what
I'm
what what,
alright.
have,
Man.
what have we discussed? Where are we
Long
at?
time no
Let's
see.
let's get into it.
We're just throwing out our thoughts.
We're
I
just
don't know.
talking
Like
hardware.
I mean, we were talking about the exclusivity, and then all of this sudden, like these two just didn't want to talk about it anymore, and then we are talking about disk drives.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're talking about disk drives. Got it. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
what
Amazing Games left the chat.
where are you guys? Where are you guys at? Where Bob? Where are you at on it today? Like, how do you feel about it?
I feel just fine. I'm not affected by it whatsoever. I mean, if it gives, if we never see the day that we multi-platform launch day and date, I'm fine with it. As long as Game Pass only lives on Xbox, and I still get all the first-party games day and date on Game Pass, and after games have seen their plateau on the Xbox ecosystem and they go somewhere else to make a little bit more money to possibly fund the making of a sequel or some extra content, instead of just piling the game full of microtransactions to make that extra money, they just put it on another platform to make that extra money. I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. And that's
Okay.
it in a nutshell.
Okay. Well, here's the way I feel about it. Okay, I look at it like this: you got two choices. I feel right now, especially if you're like, I guess this is like speaking to like the hardcore Xbox fan, right? The guy that's like only there to play an Xbox. He's online, hyping the box, talking about it, excited about it. I feel like that is really no longer possible. I don't see a world where you can be excited about something that necessarily everybody else has. Now, you can be excited about being a consumer of that product, meaning that you can say, "Hey, I am in the ecosystem because I want to take advantage of Game Pass, or I just want the ease of use or whatever." But I do think that like the idea of being an Xbox fan dies when they start bringing their games to other platforms, meaning consoles, not just PCs, right? Another tidbit of information that it was pretty interesting was a lot of people automatically jumped and speculated on specific games. However, one key aspect of that hit me personally was the fact that it's the year time frame, right? So it's been at least or more than a year on all four of these games. It's not Starfield, which I thought was interesting that he said that, because he was like Phil Spencer talked about Helldivers 2 as well, about he doesn't understand why it didn't hit Xbox. Well, then why didn't Starfield hit PlayStation 5? He knows why it didn't hit PlayStation 5, because exclusives matter, and they make your ecosystem, coveted and wanted. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you guys got to realize something here. And yeah, Vinny can attest to this, because this guy's got probably the coolest PC that I've ever seen. Is the unfortunate reality for Xbox fans, and really, and like I said, I got the smoke for PlayStation too. PlayStation is doing the same exact thing. Is PC is becoming the de facto way to play, right? And it kind of bothers me when I see people pom-pomming and cheerleading these moves, because I'm trying to like scream at them through my phone, like, do you not understand that like you're on an inferior platform? You're on a platform that is not as good. Look, I promise you right now, when Phil Spencer says that this generation leap or whatever, they said it the exact same thing with every console that's ever come out. Whatever comes out in 2026, guys, I promise you, is going to be an outdated APU. That whatever the latest and greatest NVIDIA graphics card, it will be very far behind it. These graphics cards are making generational leaps, and they're already talking about crazy numbers with the 5000 series, which is what I'm waiting on to build. I'm gonna finally just build that monster PC. But I don't think that it was as bad as everybody said. But I don't think anybody really said that. It sounded to me like everybody was just kind of going crazy with nonsensical rumors to try to, I guess, kind of deflate what it seemed to be existing rumors, which were true that Xbox games are going to PlayStation, and that's just the reality of it. Now you could take that and say, that sucks as a hardcore Xbox guy, but I think that if you're just there just to consume product, if you're just there to say, okay, I have an Xbox, it's cheap, and that's my reasoning for owning it, then yeah, I can see why you wouldn't care. But I think that if you give a shit about Xbox as a box, that would suck, in my opinion.
Well, I understand.
There's no way. So there's no way someone can care about the box and just be okay.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, I guess it depends on who you're talking to. You know what I mean? Like, who are you speaking as? Are you speaking as somebody like, if you're concerned about playing Xbox games in a console manner, then I think that it should concern you. Now they said straight outright, they were saying, oh, well, this is don't take this as a signal for other things. However, they did not rule out in the interview of other games coming. They said they would never rule out anything. That's corporate speak for, we're going to give these 4 games a shot and see how they do, and then we're going to move forward with it, is what's really going to happen. Now, PlayStation's doing the same thing, right, with Helldivers. Helldivers is highly successful on PC, and the PlayStation fans are like, yay, this is great. And I'm like, you're really dumb, because you don't think Sony's not seeing that and being like, okay, well, then PC day and date's looking pretty good for us, so we're gonna what they do the day before this happens, what they do, they announced that they were going to be accelerating their PC focus. Not one day before. See, this is why I say you can't listen to these corporate people, because as soon as they start seeing dollar signs, whatever it is that they were talking about in that moment goes out the door, because money rules everything. If these 4 games go over to PlayStation and Nintendo or wherever they land and they sell well, there will, mark my words, there will be more games coming to opposite platforms. Now, the cadence and the speed, now that could be left up. I'm not saying that tomorrow they're going to see the sales and be like, oh yeah, all the games are coming over now. It's going to be a gradual thing. They're not going to want to piss off, however many million people that are still subscribed to their service. They got to ease into it, just like PlayStation's doing with PC, right? They got to ease into it, and then they got to condition their fans into thinking that it's okay, right? That now they're comfortable with it. It's been a while. And then they go, oh, well, now it's multiplayer games as a service games day and date. Okay, I guess that's okay. And then the goalpost moves, and now it's going to be a single player game. And then we're all there with it. So we're all on PC at that point.
So let me ask you a question, Mayhem. So
at the end of the day, the only console that is going to probably continue to have exclusives is Nintendo, because when it comes to PlayStation and Xbox, I can definitely see like this gradual decision to making games that multiplayer depending on how well they are going to perform, not being something that Xbox themselves are going to be doing alone, but something that the industry is going to be doing forward. Like, just like, what stops PlayStation to do the same thing? We got a bigger player base, but it got to the point where they said, we are not growing with the model that we have. We are selling our consoles. We are making like this big single player cinematic games, wasting $200 million, and we are not selling enough to actually have that much of a growth out of it. So we are going to do what? We're going to, first of all, put our games on, make smaller games. Second of all, we're going to put these games on PC, and it's going to get to the point where it's going to be day and date. And what makes them stop right there? Why couldn't they just decide to, you know what? We are going to make these games now going to be on other platforms so we can grow somehow. Because just like Phil Spencer said, we had a great year for games last year, but it was a year that the industry didn't grow. The console industry didn't grow.
I'm with you on everything except PlayStation going to Xbox. There's only one reason why I say that is because Xbox as a whole, right? The Xbox console ecosystem is much smaller, right, worldwide than PlayStation. See, Xbox benefits from going over to PlayStation because there is a solid amount of people that are over there on that ecosystem that are pretty conditioned to buy games. It reminds me of like whenever you see these games and they skip the Xbox ecosystem and then they're talking about the reasons why or whatever, and it's just unfortunately they just don't sell well on that platform or whatever reason. What was it? Not Harry Potter, but Hogwarts Legacy. I think they were showing the percentages of like what sold on what platform, and I think Xbox was like under 20%, something small. I think it was 50 or 60% on PlayStation, and then the rest was PC. But
All right.
so Xbox sees that metric, and they're like, "Wow, they got a lot of people over there that buy games."
So I have
that's just reality.
I have a big question for the panel, and I want because I know Vinny could only give us like an hour or so. So my big question is, with there being console gamers and PC gamers, people who are always going to play on console, and then you got the handful of people that may switch to PC, and then you got a huge number of people who are only going to play on PC. If PlayStation and Xbox already does it, but if PlayStation starts going day and date on PC, I mean, you're still going to have your console diehards and you're going to have your PC gamers. Does this hurt either company to use the PC market as where they get their extra money from? Vinny, do you think that's a viable option to not hurt their console fan base? Vinny, are you there? I think Vinny fell asleep.
Sorry, I was muted. No, I was muted. I forgot.
Did you hear my question?
But yeah, I heard your question. To be honest, do I think it affects profits and revenue? No, I think it's positive for profits and revenue. But as far as the console ecosystem, like console sales and whatnot, I do think it does affect console sales negatively. And as hardware gets more expensive, it makes less sense to make consoles as if you're Sony or Microsoft, because the profit margins you get after you sell however many consoles is diminishing, as like the Sony CEO said. So it's like either they make more expensive consoles, but then at that point, like if prices keep raising, then everyone's just going to go to PC. And I also think the new generation of like gamers are gonna be PC. Like all these kids, they all want a PC. Like all of them, they want to build a PC.
That's true.
Like consoles is like slow, like not slow, fading away per se yet, but like 15, maybe 10. Like if it's super accelerated, 15, 10 years. I don't think consoles will exist. I think everything's either going to be just cloud or just third-party publishers, and it's just all going to be launchers.
I can speak for that.
I'll tell you this, Vinny. And I go ahead, Bob.
I can speak from what Vinny said. I can speak on this from personal experience. My kids, I have a son who's 9 who has a 1X Xbox in his room, and my daughters, I have twin daughters that are 13. They have a 1X. They inherited mine and the wife's 1X when we got Series X's. They have 1X's in both their rooms. They don't use them. Both of my daughters wanted one Christmas. One daughter wanted me to build them a PC. I did. The next Christmas, the other daughter wanted me to build them a PC. I did. This past Christmas, my son wanted me to build him a PC. I did. They're on their PCs all the time. They haven't turned their Xboxes on in years. Personal experience.
Bob, can you build us a PC as well?
I've got enough parts laying around
Can you
here,
build us a PC
dude. I've
for
got.
free?
I have enough
For free? Can you-
RAM. I have enough RAM, GPU cases, and hard drives laying around, and CPUs. All I would really need.
honestly,
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, Vinny's right though, man. It's just like, the more and more, like I agree that I think that they can reach more of an audience by pushing those things out. But you got to, at the end of the day, the reality of it is if they came out with Starfield and they put their foot down and they said, "Hey, this game is for Xbox. We'll let you know if and when it comes out to PC. But if you want to play Starfield, you got to go to an Xbox." A lot of people might have been begrudgingly mad online, but they would have been begrudgingly mad and then going to buy an Xbox. That's just the reality. The same people that bitch about exclusives and exclusives on consoles went out there and bought God of War Ragnarok because they wanted to play it. They went out and bought. They went out and got Last of Us 2 if they wanted to play that, Spider-Man, and then soon to be Wolverine. Right. At the end of the day, yes, they might be irritated because it's not going to be, or they might be eventually. But here's the difference, right? Now, every exclusive that comes out, especially on PlayStation, day and date on Xbox, right? We already know they're all coming to PC, right? So like they're not PC guys aren't concerned. So now the big waiting game is like, okay, X game that I've been really excited to play is coming out on PlayStation and it's exclusive. Okay, well it went from, man, that would really sucks. I guess I'm gonna have to go buy a PlayStation to, oh man, well I guess I just gotta play the waiting game and see when it comes out. See, the difference is like that right there would have been a potential PlayStation hardware sale that they lost because now everybody knows. And we all have backlogs, right? Like, does anybody really need to go run out and buy the latest and greatest games? We're not concerned. I'm not concerned. I can just play the waiting game, right? You just wait, or you wait for a sale, or you wait for it to drop on your preferred platform, and that's the difference, right? Now we live in a world where everybody can just continue playing their Fortnites and continue playing their Apexes, and when that game that they've been excited for finally drops, it's going to drop, and it's going to drop with better graphics, better performance, patches, and and all the
That's
hoopla that comes along with it.
Go
But
ahead.
that's not new at all. Like when it comes to that, because even though we were talking about before the giant leap that Xbox will do because they decided to announce in such a way, everybody knows that it is going to be lower than a PC. Everybody always knew, the same way as it's nothing new to say that every one of those companies wants money. Every one of those companies is never going to be satisfied with the money they already have and with the revenue they already do, even though it is quite gigantic. And for any person in the world, in the normal world, it would be like, okay, that's enough. I think I'm happy with receiving a 4 billion revenue or however how much money Sony does with whatever the fuck they do usually. Like they always want to grow when they get to the point where they get to go to the top and they stop right there and they are not going upper and upper more. They wanna try to get more and more money. The same way as we know that eventually we are going to be in a world where exclusives are not going to be a thing. And when it comes to that, where it's just buy a PC, just wait a PC. Like there are people who are willing to play on a PC, but there is always going to be people who only play on console, who only enjoy console experience. We might not have anymore an Xbox. We might not have a PlayStation anymore. We might not even have a Nintendo anymore. But there's always going to be somehow some sort of hardware or cloud thing, something that is going to simulate or there is going to be that console experience for those people that only enjoy to play on that.
I know of three
Bobby,
people.
I was
Oh, sorry. Can I interrupt real quick? I'm gonna head out, but I hope you guys have a good rest of the show. Thank you to everybody tuning in as well.
Yep.
yeah, bro. Appreciate
Peace
you.
out, Vinny. Love
Thanks
you,
so
brother.
much, Vinny. Appreciate
Love you
it.
guys too, man. You guys have a good one.
You too. I know of 3 people
But anyways,
right now that went out and got an Xbox just to play Power World. And because it's the only place that's available other than on PC. So, but go ahead, Mayhem.
well, here's the thing. So I think that Xbox is stupid if they don't do this. But I've said this before, and Bob, I've actually had a conversation with you about this because I remember I was joking around about like Xbox having like a graphics card, and I said that like imagine if you could like plug in the Xbox graphics card into a PC, and it essentially has like the Windows OS that they use for the Xbox ecosystem, and you can almost boot into it. I'm telling you, man, I promise you. And if they don't do this, they're dumb. And that the next Xbox is going to have 2 boot systems. It's going to have the I guess the traditional Xbox boot system, and then I think that you should be able to boot it into what I would call PC mode, and it's essentially a PC. And you can either experience your games in that closed ecosystem with the simplicity similar to like Steam's big picture mode, right? Like you can set your PC up and you can turn it on and you can have it boot into big Steam's big picture mode. And that essentially you can have that console like experience. What I plan on doing, right? I'm going to have it boot right into Steam so that when I turn it on, I can go sit on my couch with the PC sitting beside my beautiful OLED TV that I have, and I can experience my games the way I want to, because I don't want to sit at a desk. I don't want to do PC games like that. But I don't feel like I want to be I'm just kind of sick of just kind of being tied down to the console, and I'm kind of sick of having to be pay online and crossplay with my friends who are on PC that are playing Call of Duty multiplayer for free. I think it's ridiculous. So that's the way I'm going to do it. But I think that Xbox should have in their next iteration some type of option to be able to let you choose at the bottom, and you can kind of either go which mode you want to go, and you can go full PC mode and use it like what it is, which is basically an APU, or you can boot into the Xbox ecosystem and experience it like that. I think that's, especially with the big surge of these handheld PCs that are going around right now, I don't think they're going away, man. I think that if anything, those handheld PCs are going to continue to get better and stronger and faster and probably more appealing. Like Xbox is looking really, really hard at Gabe Newell and Steam, because right now you could take a Steam Deck and take your PC games on the go with you and then treat it as an extension of your PC at home. That's a very enticing offer, for a lot of PC gamers to be able to play their games like on a Steam, operating system like that. And then be able to come back home and kind of play it. I feel like that's kind of like the dream. That's kind of like what Xbox wants to do. But they don't have that hardware. They've been using phones and the cloud, and I just don't think cloud's going to pop off. I think it would have happened by now, and I really do think that they're wholeheartedly going to see a pretty major shift. I don't think they're going to really push it. I mean, they really haven't been pushing it. They mentioned xCloud in a lot of like business meetings, but other than that, I don't feel like it's going to be the main primary focus. I think PC is going to be the focus. I think they're really pushing into that. That's where their growth is. That's where Sarah Bond said the growth was. So I think that's the future, man. I think that's just the reality. And, old guys like us that grew up, sitting, crisscross applesauce in front of the TV with a console, I think we're just kind of looking back at that and like, man, that was a good time or whatever. But really the reality is that, PCs have gotten a lot better and a lot easier to use, and they come with their own headaches for sure, but it's like you said, man. The kids nowadays, like that, the gaming industry is going to go where the kids go, right? Because they're the ones; those are the primary. Me, you, Fabio, everybody that we interact with on Xbox or on PlayStation that's our age, like we're the minority, man. Like nobody's, you know what I mean? The industry isn't bending to us. You know what I mean? They're looking for where are those kids at? What are they doing? What's the trends? What do they want to do? And it's like you said, like all the kids, they want a gaming PC. Why? Because they watch their favorite streamer and their streamer has a PC. And that's what they want to be like. They want to be like their favorite streamer or like their favorite content creator. And those content creators aren't using consoles. That's just reality,
Yeah. Another thing that I really, I mean, we're talking about Microsoft here, okay? Like ass loads of money. Just if you want to even the playing field, just make online play free already on the Xbox. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it really, and that's the thing that really bothers me. And it's like there's a huge W there that could be there, but I think that I think deep down they don't want to get rid of that money, man. That's
Well,
a lot
you
of
can
people are conditioned to subscribe to Xbox Live, or Game Pass Core or whatever they want to call it now.
Well, I mean, they can still charge people for Game Pass, but if I buy a game, let me play online for free. That right there is like, hey, yo, look, we broke the mold. We don't charge you for online anymore.
Yeah, I think that would be huge. I mean, I'll put it to you like this. Right now, for instance, like I'm not subscribed to Game Pass, but I had purchased like a full year of PS Plus. I'm playing my multiplayer games there because and once that wears out, I'm not giving either one of these companies my money anymore. So like once that taps out, like I'm either going to play just free to play until I, build a PC or whatever, because it really bothers me knowing that, like you, for instance, Bob, if you were like, hey, let's go play, fucking Power World or whatever, right? Like if I wanted to play that and I wanted to link up with you, or we wanted to run some Suicide Squad together, and I'm on my Xbox, I gotta have to give the corporation money to gain access to the same thing that you're doing for absolutely no money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I think bothers me, and I think that that's something that's really archaic and outdated and needs to change. If they really, like I said, and I don't know where their head's at with hardware. I know that they're going to make another Xbox. I never once thought they weren't going to make another Xbox, but I also know that Xbox is going to be outdated as soon as it drops. And just like the PS5 Pro is going to be outdated as soon as it drops. You know what I mean? It's just they can't keep up. And maybe they need to, relook at their own strategies, right? Like maybe we need to look at look at phones. Like look at the iPhone. Every year there's a leap in power with the iPhone, and it's happening every year. But I also don't want the industry to turn into like I'm buying another Xbox every year. You know what I mean? Like that's ridiculous. At that point,
Right.
Then PC becomes even more appealing because you can future-proof yourself if you spend the money.
So what about a console with a changeable GPU?
See, I thought about that too, right? Like you have like a almost kind of like the old 360 hard drive, how you could just like detach it.
Yep.
Like imagine if you could just kind of like click the back off of the Xbox, and it had like this like modular system that would kind of like load in like an eGPU or something like that. And then the box itself would stay the same at least as long as you wanted it to be, and then you kind of just click in that new thing and update it, and then that's your new quote unquote Xbox. Yeah, I've always thought that they could do that. I really think they should just make a. I think they should just make a not even an Xbox. I think they should just make a design by Microsoft. Not an Xbox, but a gaming a PC, a modular PC that's engineered and has all the same specs. And I know that that's exactly what an Xbox is, but I guess like not making a box that's restricted to the Xbox ecosystem that has all the perks of a PC, but it also has the benefits of like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about like, are my fans or whatever. It's all in one system in a box ready to go. You know what I mean? And they can sell it for cheaper,
Yep.
I think that'd be their win. I know they're not going to do that, but at the end of the day, I think that's where they're going. I mean, you've experienced PC. I've experienced PC. I only sent my PC back because the graphics card had a problem. Something was wrong with it. I don't know what, and I just got irritated with it, so I sent it back.
I got lucky. My EVGA card was still under warranty, so I was able to send it in and get a new replacement.
Oh, really? That's
Yep.
good.
So, which
That's
is
good.
not going to be much longer because EVGA cards they stopped last gen. So, I got my replacement while I could.
I think the only thing they're making now is like what is they're making like power supplies, some
Yep.
other stuff or whatever. They're not making, but they're not doing graphics cards.
No, I've
Because I was
heard
watching Jay's 2 cents and he had this big thing about it.
rumblings that EVGA could partner with AMD, but no solidity to that rumor. So
Yeah, I also heard that Xbox might be trying to partner with Intel. I hope they don't do that.
well, the Intel cards aren't horrible. It's the driver support that's horrible. So
Yeah, true, but you might as well say that they're horrible. If the driver, because AMD suffer for the same thing. You remember Adrenaline like
yep,
5, 6, 7 years ago? Oh, it was
yep,
terrible, bro.
it was horrible.
And now it's pretty good. You know?
Yes,
I just
Fabio.
loved like you might not want to say that they are horrible, but they are horrible.
yeah.
So Fabio,
Like,
what you really need to do, man, is like we're gonna have to live stream us picking out PC parts for you, man. I think that's gonna be the big hit. We'll
Yeah.
we'll have you pick out some parts, and then we can sacrifice your Xbox to the gods, and then we'll all move on. You know, it'll be great.
No, no, thanks. I much more prefer to play on console actually. I never enjoy playing on PC. Like the only types of games that I used to play a long time ago on PC were like MOBAs and yeah.
Yeah, but you could treat a PC just like a console, bro. Like it really is easy. If you set it up, then initially you have to do some tweaking. But if you can literally set it up and click your little button and hook it up to a TV and have that console experience. Just saying, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it is tempting, but yeah, I think I prefer to continue with the console.
I tell
Yeah.
you what, Fabio.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I would be fine. I'd be fine with staying on console if they would stop with the pay. But I gotta take off, guys. It was cool jumping in, but I gotta jump back out. I gotta go in there and finish my job.
All right, brother.
I'll hit you guys up.
All right, mate.
All right, man. Yeah, y'all take it easy.
You too, brother.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Take it
Bye-bye.
easy, mate. Good to see you. Good to see you. Long time no see.
Bye, man. Bye.
Mayhem Games, the fire.
It's been a long time. It's been a really long time since the last time he's been with us. But yeah, Bob, considering the way that we are right now, that it's been like an hour and 18 minutes, and it's just the two of us, and this was like the main topic that we
Just the
had to
two
discuss.
of us.
Like,
We
should
can
we give
make
our
it if we try.
should we give like
just the two
our
of us?
should we give them our overall of what each one of us think of the podcast that we saw and what the future might hold?
Yeah. Yeah, you want to go first? Want me to go first? I'll go first.
What do you think? Oh,
Um,
whatever you prefer, man.
I don't. I thought they were as straightforward as they could have been. A lot of people are reading between the lines and saying, "Well, yeah, they didn't exactly say this," and yes, they did. They did say it. You know, they said that when a game plateaus on your service, then they're gonna try and make some more money on it to help fund the next release or the next DLC or development. And I'm okay with it. I did it. The podcast today, as soon as he said Starfield and Indiana Jones are not going, I was okay with I understood exactly everything they said, and I agreed with everything they said. And this just may be me because I'm not a console warrior. Well, I try not to be. I mean, I may come off as a console warrior sometimes because I get really passionate about dumb decisions that corporations make, and I really go out of my way to put them on notice in my eyes. And so I may seem like an X-bot, or I may seem like a pony, or I may seem like a master race PC gamer. I don't care. I will throw shade where shade is deserved. And I can't disagree with anything Xbox is doing. And if you hit these social media streets with a console, with a plastic box on your shoulder, throwing toxic hate at the other side, then in your eyes, I hope they lose all their exclusives because it serves you right. But as a gamer, at the end of the day, none of this affects me. I'm still going to have Game Pass on my Xbox. I'm still going to have PlayStation exclusives on my PlayStation and my PC. And yeah, as a gamer, this affects me none whatsoever. And I thought they were pretty. I understood everything they said. I didn't think there was. I didn't read between the lines because people that do that they're looking for stuff to create clickbait, and that's not me. I may
Clickbait and chaos.
clickbait and chaos. Yes, I may make some pretty risque type thumbnails that kind of insinuate some things, like I have done for the last two shows with the cartoon Phil Spencer and the cartoon Satya Nadella, saying that we're listening and we got more news for you next week. And then Satya saying, while the brand burns in the meantime. And then the thumbnail for today's show where the host of the podcast was saying PS5 has been ordered, and Sarah Bond and Matt Booty thinking, not yet. But, that's just having fun with that. I don't take any of it really very seriously at all.
Mm-hmm.
As a gamer and as fellow gamers out there in the community, play where you want to play. And if you're happy playing where you play at, then none of what goes on is going to affect you whatsoever. It's only when you take to heart that plastic box a little too far and you get your feelings into it, that's when it'll hurt you. Just can't do that. Just got to be a gamer, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to play games and enjoy games and let corporations do what they're going to do to make that extra buck. Fabio, what do you think?
Well, considering what we saw from the podcast, I think that I really enjoyed what I saw there. I'm not the type of person that is going to be thinking that the brand is going to die. I'm not going to be thinking that the console is going to die. I'm not going to be thinking that everything is going to be multiplat, because what good does that would that make to you? And like, considering the way they explain the strategy, I think, yeah, this can be really good for Xbox, and they need to be really smart with what they are going to be doing to move forward with this, in terms of like to choose carefully which games they are going to be putting, like make maybe some we are going to be putting, I don't know, like let's say that they are going to add State of Decay 2 or something like that. That's a game that, okay, makes kind of sense when it comes to the community out of that. But if it is a game like Halo, Gears, and Forza, they are way too attached to the brands, the Xbox brands. Halo is Xbox, and Xbox is Halo. Like, if it wasn't for Halo, Xbox would not be there. They would not have their jobs. We wouldn't have this community. But I understand that in the future, in a distant future, exclusives are going to be something from the past. But that's not something that Xbox exclusives are going to be something from the past. PlayStation exclusives are also going to be something from the past, because that's the way the industry is going forward. That's what I learned. The main thing that I learned with this podcast, which I think was really well done. And if any PlayStation fanboys or stuff like that think that forever they are going to have PlayStation exclusives and that only Xbox is going to be doing that, yeah, think again. Think again, because Xbox would not be stupid to the point where they are going to be the pioneers of doing this kind of move, and then after that, PlayStation is going to be doing that as well, like to be aggressive and say that everything's going to be multiplayer. No, this is the way the industry is going forward. But out of this, I got four really good news from this podcast, which made me be okay and continue to be happy with the console that I have, with the brand that I support, with the games that I have, and with the future that we are going to be having moving forward. First of all, even though these four games are going to be the ones that are going to be testing the waters, Phil Spencer said, "We're not. This is not going to change at all the our exclusivity model." Okay, that's great. Second of all, finally, Activision Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass. It started with Diablo, but we know that with what Sarabel said, we are going to have all of that in one point. So we can guess that Call of Duty will be there as well. And guess what? Probably with Call of Duty, we're going to have a really good increase from Game Pass subscriptions as well. Third of all, games on Game Pass, Microsoft games, Xbox games on Game Pass are going to be continue to be day and date. And fourth of all, Microsoft themselves, Xbox, Cerebon, and Phil Spencer and Matt Booty in this podcast, they reassured and they made a deal with us saying what we are doing here to move forward in terms of helping making the industry grow, to have a way for us to grow as well, which is the way the entire industry is going to follow in PlayStation. Of course, the PlayStation is going to be doing something like that. They are starting to be doing something like that on PC. So maybe in the future there's going to be the moment they're going to be doing as well on console. But even though they are going to be doing this type of move, they reassured we are going to treat, decide, and think in a way that is going to respect the Xbox consumer, respect the community that you chose, and respect the support that you gave us, respect the console and the platform that you chose, respect the fact that you are an Xbox consumer, and they need to keep their promise in that, because if they do something that the community considers that they are going to be disrespecting, they are fucked. Because if they don't have the community, if they don't have their consumers, they got nothing. So I think that this podcast was really good because of these 4 points, and I'm curious. I am excited for our Xbox, of course, but I am overall curious to see how the industry is going to move forward.
Yeah. I'm at the end of the day, I mean, if you're not if you're one of those type of people that use the games that you can play that other people can't play, if you use that as if you use that as something to down somebody else, or to prove that your decision to go with this platform was the better decision than this other person, then if fuck you. Okay, that I can't be more blunt. You know, there are a lot of people in our community that have gone out and said, I'm done with Xbox and I'm going over here, and they, disrespected us and not, you know, uh, people,
Over
yeah,
rumors.
over rumors. But at the end of the day, if you enjoy the ecosystem that you play in, this this doesn't affect you at all. It literally doesn't. you're still going to get your games day and date on Game Pass on the platform, the only platform that Game Pass exists. It doesn't affect you whatsoever. It just, I don't know. It drives me insane because yes, I have a PC. Yes, I have a PlayStation. Yes, I have an Xbox. Even if I didn't use my PlayStation or my PC and I just played on Xbox, this doesn't affect me whatsoever. I'm still going to get my games day and date on Game Pass. I'm still going to have the community that I game with. Unless some of them go and sell their Xbox because of all these rumors. But it literally doesn't change your life one bit. This corporation goes and lets other people enjoy a game that you have enjoyed just to make some more money to help with development costs. It's stupid. It really is. And people need to check themselves and really take a step back, look in the mirror, and ask themselves what they stand for. Because if you're upset that somebody else gets to play Sea of Thieves, or if it happens, if you're upset that somebody gets to play Indiana Jones, guess what? We still got a kick-ass Indiana Jones game from Machine Games. And guess what? You don't have to pay for it. You get to play it on your Xbox with Game Pass day and date. Who cares who else gets to play it? I don't care. All I care about is that I didn't have to pay for it because it came to me on Game Pass. That's a plus. That's a win. We've always griped about consoles keeping things behind a paywall. You know, you have to buy into the ecosystem in order to play a certain type of game. Well, we complain about that. But the people out there that are getting upset that other people are going to get to play the games that have only been on... Isn't that the same thing? That you've always, championed against in the past, and now you're championing for it because other people are... This is stupid. It makes no sense to me. Thimber in the chat. Hey, shout out to Infinite Number, brother. Thank you for stopping by. Thimber in the chat says, too many of those real fans ended up being the real fanboys. Yeah, I know. I
just wanna let me just put and one thing that is quite important to anyone that is watching and to anyone that is going to be watching. Learn from this week and from the results of it is quite simple. If anyone, I mean anyone, it doesn't matter how good of an insider they are.
Oh, this is the wine talking right here.
Anyone decides to put a fucking rumor, just wait till it gets official to see if it's true. Then you can start bitching.
And at the end, why are you bitching? Let's be honest. I saw so many podcasts today that were sitting, and there were so many live streams. There were so many live streams today, dude. When I went on YouTube and I did a search for the Xbox, the official Xbox podcast, I was floored by how many live streams there were already waiting to live react to this news. And it's like, these were all Xbox centric podcasts. Why do you care? You're still on, you still get all the benefits from Xbox. It's not like they're taking a franchise that you'll never get to play again and giving it to somebody. You still get it. You still get it free with Game Pass. What are you worried about? Oh my God. It's just, it drives me insane, Fabio. It really does. Yeah, it's fun to talk about at the end of the day, but still, it doesn't affect us whatsoever. All it does is make our brand stronger in the long run. That's it. That's it. On that note, sir, this has been a great show. A lot of feelings have come out, a lot of viewpoints on the news today, and yeah, I think we're gonna head out, bro. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you at?
Of course, you can find me not just here on the Game Set Live podcast, but you can find me also on the XPN Network YouTube channel. You can find me on Xbox as Buffon Lizard 8, where I am really proud of my Series S. And finally, I got more SSD storage. God damn, I'm so happy about that. And you can find me on Twitter as FBO Marine 97.
Awesome sauce. Everybody look him up. Look him up. Good man, good man. Yeah, shout out to the what are they called again? They're not the Xbox Live Party Podcast. They changed their name, didn't they?
We did have we are like the overall channel is XPN Network, but we still have the XBL Party Podcast.
Okay. Oh goodness.
Gino was there.
Oh yeah.
Gino was there tonight.
Awesome. How's he doing? Doing good?
He's doing great. He was trolling. He's just trolling so bad. Like he just showed up on the podcast wearing a PlayStation T-shirt.
Oh jeez.
It got to the point where he picked up his PlayStation 5 controller and he was saying the power of Jim compels you.
Dude, I went on somebody's podcast a couple of months ago, and we were on camera, and I remember I showed up for the podcast with a PlayStation hat on my head and a T-shirt that said Series X Day One, and they were just like, nobody on the podcast knew what to say. They were like, I'm confused. I was like, that's the point. I mean, I'm straight out of Game Set Live, baby. I'm not claiming any platform. We're talking about games, sets, and we're live. There you go. And as always, this is your host, KY Bob, wrangling my panelists and my guests on a week-to-week basis. We appreciate everybody joining us today to hear our thoughts on the news that came out on the official Xbox podcast this morning. You can catch this show on wherever you listen to your podcasts, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Pocket Casts. That is uploaded directly after the show. And yeah. Give us a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Really helps the channel out a lot. Know that all of you are appreciated. And yeah, for the Lord's sake, just touch some grass, play some games, hug somebody you love. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week, everyone. And by the way, huge shout out to Finber that has been here with us. Just talking alone in chat, but like always interacting with us, always supporting us. Like we really appreciate you, mate.
And shout out to Andrew that just hopped into the chat at the end of the episode.
Oh goddamn!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Listen to the replay, brother. We had Mayhem Games hop in. It was a treat. Bring the fire. But we will see you all next week. Enjoy your games. We out.